Can Vidit Gujrathi stop a seemingly unstoppable Magnus Carlsen? He's at an insane 7-bar-7 score in the Pro Chess League so far, playing against Vidit. And of course, this is a super huge matchup for the Indian Yogis. Vidit is going to try to look for that half a point, which would mean so much for him with the black pieces for the team. And we've got the players who are ready and set to go.
But Magnus, he has been, I think, better in week 2 than he was in week 1, and that is scary news for the rest of the Pro Chess League. Be on high alert that if Magnus Carlsen's form is improving throughout the season, and he's already 7 out of 7, and Vidit Gujrathi has a lot of experience playing against B3, not just because the beast Adiban Bhaskaran, he plays B3 himself, but he's played against Hikaru many times. I remember in the Rapid Chess Championship, there was some series between Vidit and Hikaru, where Hikaru did play B3. Vidit actually had the upper hand in a great position. So this is principal stuff. And by the way, 84% of the chat picked the Chessbrahs to win this match. You asked the question, the chat has answered. It's not very surprising because, well, the Chessbrahs have a lead. I don't think it's like a bias thing even. It's just the fact that with a 1-point match lead and Magnus Carlsen with the white pieces, I get it. And B4 has just been played, kicking this bishop out. C4, likely next. Knight D2, just trying to go after this square. Maybe just early stages here. Neither side with a huge plus, just kind of calm territory. But Magnus can almost pre-move C4. Magnus is trying to make things happen. In his last move, you see rook D1 to C1 after Black just put a rook on D8. So Tanya, it's clear that Magnus wants to keep more pieces on the board. He may be lining up some kind of queen C2, a battery with bishop takes F6 on tap, and maybe it's just because White's bishops are better than their black counterpart.
That's the key point in this position, and at first sight it looks so symmetrical with the pawn structure, the minor pieces. It looks like it should be an equal middle game, but actually it is way deeper than that and way more complicated. And the fact that Vidit has made the move king to F8, it just expresses that's just how difficult it is with black to find good moves in this position. White has a clear idea to penetrate with that queen to that 8-7 square. Queen C2, and it just looks like White's the one setting up the battery before black does. Idea of not trading rooks will eventually help White in creating more chances along the C file as well. Queen C2 comes to mind right now. Again, with the idea of going maybe knight E4. You know, you don't want to really trade off this bishop on B2 for the knight unless you get something immediately. But I'm happy to trade off one of the kingside knights for your key defenders. Knight E4, queen jumping in. It is not as poison-free as it looks for Vidit right now.
I like White because the bishops are staring into longer diagonals, whereas bishop on E8 staring into its own knight and pawn, bishop on B6 staring into the enemy pawn, which is safe and sound. So I just think a slight advantage for Magnus. Maybe he will start with knight E4 to develop his bishop to E4, get this knight out of here, open up some files for his pieces. It's one of these like give and take positions.
Magnus's queen has arrived towards Vidit's king there. We've got a queen on H8. This looks super dangerous. Imagine if that bishop from B1 gave a check on G6. That's game over. Knight H4, bishop G6 would be completely done for. The Evalbar says that White's attack is going to mark the end for Vidit, but I don't see a clear way currently because after Knight H4, you still have knight to E7, and that's why he's vacated that square so that the black knight can come to defend the king.
Okay, but the evaluation bar went all the way through the roof, so I have to look at tactics here. Where are they? I think because of the evaluation bar, I didn't see it myself, bishop G6 check is actually the best move. And after king takes G6, I'll just show that quickly. You take, the queen comes to G8, and the king is lacking escape square. So somehow, a knight H4 check is next, and there will likely be a mate. But Magnus, and that was a ridiculous thing to find. He plays E4. He still keeps a huge advantage, right? The bar is still sky high in its favor.
And Magnus, meanwhile, has got a couple of moves to build the attack. I'm trying to think how he can improve the position because it looks like he's done everything right. Ideas of bishop F6 are screaming for me. I don't think they work right now. But the point is that after G takes F6, queen H7 would have been a check. Magnus plays queen H7 first, and the Evalbar does not like this move.
It says equal. I think you were right. And look, Magnus is now worse. He made 2 inaccuracies in a row. He's going for the G7 pawn. But after pawn takes, bishop takes E5. He's hitting this knight and G7, but Can this knight simply retreat back to h5 here? Did Magnus completely miss that? Oh, he did. Look at him shaking his head. He missed the simple retreat of the knight, protecting g7. Vidit Gujrathi might steal this game.
And look at Vidit. He knows it. He knows he's got the defense up, but he's down to 11 seconds on the clock, Robert. And that is a tough task with just 11 seconds. There's still danger on his king, but Vidit Gujrathi is on the brink of winning against Magnus here.
But time trouble will play a part here. This king is still not fully safe. Knight of 6. There might be bishop takes an e5 check. So the king may have...
Knight f6.
The king may have to march into the center of the board. That looks very scary. What is it going on to e5 check? He goes g5 first.
Okay, this is blowing up. He doesn't go e5. Black could have fallen back with the king. He gives a check first. You can still go king f7. Everything is safe. White doesn't have enough pieces right now. But where are you hiding? King f8, queen h8. He wants to block it with a knight. If the bishop sticks in to put more pressure on the pinned knight, the queen can slide up and defend. Magnus Carlsen is busted right now.
He is busted. The queen comes to f3, threatening queen d1 check and defending the king on the f-file, which means that what can white even do here? The bishop has no squares. The bishop has no... You go up to c2, but that doesn't look right. Oh, no. Queen trade, down a piece. This is just going to be a win for Vidit Gujrathi, who forces the queens off and now is in a completely, easily winning minor piece endgame, where he's up one.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable stuff. And with... the Indian Yogis have already leveled the score here with their win. They've got 6.5 to 6.5, and now it is Magnus's team. The Chessbrahs that need to be careful. Magnus is down an entire piece. This is just completely lost, and Vidit needs to just show a little bit of control on his nerves. He's super good at that, Robert. I'm in shock at the turnaround that we're seeing. And what was it, 82% saying that we're not going to see a playoff?
84% said the Chessbrahs would win, but now it's looking like the Yogis are going to win. Raunak Sadhwani wins with black against Ariantari. Vidit Gujrathi about to win with black against Magnus Carlsen. This is resign time. It's easy now, and there is a resignation. We need to go back to that moment very quickly.